Hello viewers, in this video lecture, today we are going to talk about the module Fundamentals of Energy Science. In this, today we will deal with lecture 5 Prospects and Achievements of Power Generation through Renewable Energy Sources. In the previous lecture, you have learnt about new emerging technologies. So viewers, here are the important topics which will be discussed in this video. First will be introduction, then definition, then sources of renewable energy, batteries and challenges for the power generation through renewable energy sources, strategies for promotion and implementation, possible solution for power generation, conclusion and references. Now, coming to the introduction of renewable energy. What is renewable energy and where does it comes from? We all think we know, and some of us even be able to name some of the most prominent sources of renewable energy. But do we really understand the purpose of each type, such as how and where it is used, how much energy it can generate, or its wider economic or benefits? Here, an attempt has been made to cut through the fog and give a clear, decisive summary of the information presently available on the renewable energy and associated technologies. Put simply, renewable energies are those generated from the sources that do not have a finite end, or those that can be recycled, typically from the natural sources like solar power, wind power and water power. These are the examples that we think about most when we hear the term renewable energy, but they are not the only sources. We use energy every day of our lives. Our electronic devices require electricity for power. Our street lights need the same for lighting. Our vehicles require gasoline and diesel. We fuel our homes with domestic oil, propane or electricity from a national or a local grid for lighting, heating and for powering our devices. You are watching this video that is hosted on a server that needs power, as does computer with which you are viewing this site. The places the work use computers, phones, networks, security system and servers, as do our shopping malls, parking lots, sports, stadium, cars, airplane and so on. All of these things require power from a fuel. The world is doing what it can to reduce carbon emission and limit global average temperature change with a new agreement decided in 2015 at the Paris Climate Summit or COP21. To move forward, we also need to realize that there is only so much that can possibly be done in limiting GHG output, as the human population only increases and puts more demands on our energy infrastructure. To further help the environment and secure the future of the planet for our children and their children, we need to move to renewable sources of our energy generation. Renewable energy is the energy from renewable sources that are naturally replenished on a human time scale. Renewable sources including sunlight, wind, the movement of water and geothermal heat. Although most renewable energy sources are sustainable, some are not. For example, some biomass sources are considered unsustainable at the current rates of exploitation. Renewable energy is often used for electricity generation, heating and cooling. Renewable energy projects are typically large scale, but they are also suited to rural and remote areas and developing countries where energy is often crucial in human development. Renewable energy is often deployed together with further electrification, which has several benefits. Electricity can move heat or objects efficiently and is clean at the point of consumption. Renewable energy. Renewable energy is the energy that has been derived from the earth's natural resources that are not finite or exhaustible, such as wind and sunlight. Renewable energy is an alternative to the traditional energy that relies on fossil fuels, and it tends to be much less harmful to the environment. Renewable energy sources. There are different types of sources for power generation, which I'll discuss here in details. Hydro energy, small hydropower, biomass power, biopower, urban industrial waste power, wind power, solar power. Solar energy. Solar energy is derived by capturing radiant energy from sunlight and converting it into heat, electricity or hot water. Photovoltaic system can be converted directly sunlight into electricity through the use of solar cells. Now, let's discuss about barriers for the development of renewable energy technology in the region. Policy and planning barriers. Dissemination approach. The current approach for executing RET program entails planning and dissemination by state renewable energy development agencies and rural development departments. A top-down approach is adopted where the targets are set at the top and transmitted to various levels below. Often, these targets are determined independent of the felt need of the people, leading to faculty identification of target groups. For example, in the early years of biogas dissemination, larger sized biogas plants were installed to achieve the target, notwithstanding inadequate supply of the dung. The rural population. The ultimate beneficiaries of the program have little role in deciding the design content of any renewable energy. Program leading to failure of the programs in many cases. Further, the renewable energy technology has also failed to take into account the gender perspective during the planning and implementation stages, resulting in the limited success of the program. Now, let's discuss a bit about financial barriers. The infrastructure bottleneck and remoteness of the region had made installation cost of renewable energy technology very high, even though the region receives a higher subsidy on the purchase of RET devices than the rest of India. Moreover, high subsidies on the commercial fuels in spite of their environmental implications has also slowed the pace of RET dissemination. The government subsidized commercial fuel use does not take into account the efficiency of the device, like kerosene stove, lamp, etc. Thus, the subsidy on the fossil fuels is largely responsible for the unfavorable market economies bearing on RTEs. Further, inefficient technologies using traditional or commercial energy are bound to show better attractiveness than the renewable energy technology based on financial cost benefit analysis. In the view of the need to promote sustainable development, It is not just the financial cost of a renewable energy project which is important, but also the attached social and economic cost. Also, current there is no mechanism in the region to provide microcredit facility to the beneficiaries for installation of renewable energy technology. Though at current market prices, RETs are unaffordable to the poor without subsidy, but with appropriate financial support schemes, the subsidy can be gradually reduced and market for RET may be developed in the region. The higher financial stake in the ownership of the device also compels beneficiaries to use system regularly and efficiently as they have to repay the loan. Experience in our country as well as globally has shown that microcredit mechanism assists in disseminating the renewable energy technologies more efficiently among the rural people instead of direct capital subsidy. Technological barriers, mismatch between technological users' needs and resources availability. In many of the programs, little attention has been paid to the issue of matching technologies with people's needs and resources availability of a particular location. The suitability of a particular technology to either the beneficiary or the place is usually not considered, and technologies have been promoted with the consideration that the users will modify their lifestyle in accordance with the technology. This is evident from cases such as construction, smokeless internal combustion engines, where households use smoke for curing food and drying wood, installing biogas plants in the areas with the paucity of cattle dung or water, and installation of street lights in the areas where people do not venture out after sunset. Lack of maintenance infrastructure. Lack of adequate maintenance infrastructure in the region remains one of the major reasons for failure of majority of the system. Even in states with dedicated nodal agencies, the maintenance has been from satisfactory due to lack of trained technicians and inaccessible nature of installation. Now let's deal with strategies for promotion and implementation of renewable energy technologies. Dissemination approach. The current implementation processes needs a complete makeover of the conventional approach to achieve maximum effectiveness. Thus, planning has to be undertaken at a decentralized level with multi-level special consideration. A bottom-up approach entailing government's contribution for overall policy. NGOs would ensure the success of state-sponsored renewable energy technologies program. To create significant impact, the dissemination strategies should have geographical focus, a centralized deployment of a technologies based on its careful matching with communities' need and resources base. For example, internal combustion engine that save on wood should be promoted in areas with fuel wood scarcity. Such areas may include geographical pockets with high population density and heavy stress on the forest resources. This will help to realize economics of scale in the installation of devices, thus reducing transportation cost and also facilitating better monitoring and repair services. Many institutional barriers can be overcome by imparting focused training to target groups and trainers and introducing a free flow of information of awareness feedback and appreciations. The capacity building of local institutions and user community is imperative because implementation and management of renewable energy technology programs, if shared among stakeholders, would encourage a greater sense of accountability and eventually result in the desired impact. Because of the limited access to the technical information, the users are unable to take optimum advantage of the device. Capacity building is needed at the grassroots level, and persons, groups with interest in the technology need to be identified, trained in this installation and maintenance, and then encouraged to set up small business to sell and the service the technology within the local area. Grid integration of renewable energy sources. Challenges, issue and possible solutions. Now let's take a bit about issue and challenges. Renewable energy sources are the intermittent in nature, and hence it is therefore a challenging task to integrate renewable energy resources into the power grid. Some of the challenges and issues associated with the grid integration of various renewable energy sources, particularly solar photovoltaic and wind energy conversion systems. Further, these challenges are broadly classified into technical and non-technical and described below. A technical issue. The following are the technical issues which I'll tell you. First is power quality. It comes under harmonics, and second frequency and voltage fluctuation. Second is power fluctuation, small time power fluctuation, and secondly a long time and seasonal power fluctuation. Third is storage. Fourth is protection issue. Fifth, optimal placement of renewable energy sources. Sixth is landing. Apart from aforesaid technical issue, some of the non-technical issues are also presented. Non-technical issue. Lack of technical skilled manpower. Second is less availability of transmission line to accommodate renewable energy sources. Third is renewable energy sources technologies are excluded from the competition by giving them priority to dispatch, which discourage the installation of new power plant for reserve purpose. Possible solution. Let's discuss about the possible solutions. The renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, etc. has accelerated the transition towards greener energy sources. The increasing number of renewable energy sources and distributed generators require new strategies for the operation and management of the electricity grid in order to maintain or even to improve the power supply reliability and quality. Keeping in view of the aforesaid, some of the possible solutions have been proposed, which I will discuss here. First is the power electronic technology plays an important role in distributed generation and in integration of the renewable energy sources into the electrical grid, and it is widely used and rapidly expanding as these applications become more integrated with the grid-based system. During the last few years, power electronics has undergone a fast evolution, which is mainly due to two factors. The first one is the development of fast semiconductor switches that are capable of switching quickly and handling high powers. The second factor is the introduction of real-time computer controllers that can implement advanced and complex control algorithms. These factors together have led to the development of cost-effective and grid-friendly converters. Second is intermittent of power generation from the renewable energy sources can be controlled by gathering the power from distributing the renewable energy sources to larger geographical area in small units instead of large unit concentrating in one area. For example, output power of large solar PV system with rating of tens of megawatt can be changed by 70% in a 5-10 minutes of time frame by the local phenomena like cloud passing, etc. Therefore, large number of small solar PV systems should be installed in larger geographical area. The fluctuation of total output power can be minimized because of local problem can affect only small unit power, not the total output power. Third, in case of irrigation, the load is fed during the night time or off-peak load time, and this is fed by conventional grid. On the other hand, power generated by renewable energy sources like solar PV is generated during daytime, so we can use this power for irrigation purposes instead of storing the energy for later time, which increases the cost of the overall system. Using the solar water pumping for irrigation gives very high efficiency, approx 80 to 90%, and the cost of solar water pumping is much lesser than the induction motors pumping type. Fourth, in large solar PV plant, output power is fluctuating during the whole day, and this power is fed to the grid, and continuously fluctuating power gives rise to the security concern to the grid for making stable grid. Solar PV plant owner have to install the different type of storage system, which gives additional cost to the plant owner. Once the storage system is fully charged, then this storage elements gives no profit to the system owner. Therefore, solar based water pumping system may be installed instead of storage system. Now let's conclude. India's energy mix comprises both fossil fuels like coal, lignite, petroleum and natural gas, and renewable energy sources like wind, solar, small hydro, biomass, etc. The fossil fuels, with about 3/5 of the country's power generation capacity, being dependent on the vast indigenous reserves of the coal. However, electricity demand is higher during crop irrigation time and in summer when the cooling load for human comfort is extremely higher than the supply. Ultimately, it leads unpredicted power cut and sometimes whole power generating system shut down. Many times blackouts have been pointed out in India. This is because of infrastructure problem. The blackout is a symbolic of the infrastructure bottlenecks of the country. On the other hand, India faces the problem of coal to feed all its new coal burning power plants. The coal supply has not been matching with the power sector demand. Sometimes hardly getting any kind of coal. Natural gas based generation capacity has also grown very rapidly in the last decade due to lower capital requirements, shorter construction periods, and higher efficiency have a 1/12 share in the overall capacity. Power generation from the nuclear fuel is still limited due to security and safety viewpoint. Fortunately, India is rich enough as far as renewable energy sources is concerned. The sustainable development is impossible without using renewable energy sources. Among the renewable energy sources, solar power generation undoubtedly offers the most promising and viable option for electricity generation for the present and future. Now, let us summarize what we have learnt today. Today, we have dealt with introduction, definition, sources of renewable energy, barriers and challenges for the power generation through renewable energy sources, strategy for promotion and implementation, possible solution for power generation. Conclusion. So, I suppose you must have had a good learning experiences watching this video. So, keep watching and enjoy learning. Thank you very much.